What is going on, everybody? JPA here, back from the long YouTube hiatus, off for a couple weeks, but came here to go over the meta play with everyone. So you guys liked it up, so thank you for the likes, and let's get into what happened. So first of all, the trade we ended up taking yesterday was meta 137 puts for 88 cents, and then everybody with their little surprise space shocks, yada yada yada. So what were we looking at? So one thing I've been back testing more to kind of improve my accuracy was using flow and charts to kind of back test and observe what I like and what I can see. So in Unusual Whales on the intraday analyst tab, you can kind of go back and forth each day and see what happened. So 9/28 was the day we executed the trade. So we're going to look here, and it looks like there's a lot going on. But what I like to look at is just the intraday options volume here. So we saw that there were some pretty big put spikes in meta all the way up into the close. So something was up, and obviously, we've been selling off pretty hard, so it's not too out of the ordinary to see puts, but some of these real big, just dominant put candles here made me think, hey, something's up. So what you want to do is kind of use the flow to confirm what you see in the charts. So we also saw like, hey, here's a bunch of put flow and meta, aggressive put flow. So I like to see that. And then same thing, but same with higher OI, a little bit longer dated, 400, 500 days away. It's bullish. So you kind of got to think what's going to come near term. So near term, it looked like on Wednesday, there was a bunch of puts coming in. So it said, hey, this might be a position worth looking into selling. And we also knew that we had another Fed event with the joblessness claims Thursday morning. So recently those events have been pretty poor. So read the flow there. And then we go to meta. So here's meta yesterday with that big ascending wedge. So from a longer time frame, you guys know I like to look at just those big wicks and then kind of line them up. So here's a couple of those high wicks. So we see here the high of 142.24. We see a high of 141.75. And we see a high of 142.62. And if you pay attention to my alert, I think it was right around 141.7. So we can kind of draw it here like, okay, here's an area where I think that a short could be productive. So on the 90-minute time frames, you can take that area of resistance here, and you can say, okay, well, I see something there that could cause a sell-off. And you can also zoom in on a closer time frame and say, okay, well, here's what's this, and you can kind of draw your wedge. I'll try to do a little ascending wedge. Bam, pointy, and you can kind of see it pop up there. And then that sell-off, and then what I wanted to do was just kind of show you. So here's the ascending wedge. Price broke, and the downtrend resumes. So if we see the longer time frame on meta, let's go to like a daily view. You just see that continued beat down, as well as just the only ones out there still using meta is everyone's grandma. You don't really see too many people, the young hipster kids, as you say, on meta every now and then. So you see that sell-off. And then we were also fortunate to kind of get a bit of news with the Pornhub ban, with the slowing of hiring, all kind of baked in there to kind of help us really get that sell-off. So we ended up doing really well. We had meta go I think it went up to 3.1 was the high so far. We sold some early. So the reason I took an early trim, I'll kind of open up the quotes here and show you what we walked through. Just kind of through the day of what happened. So first thing in the morning at 9:30, I took the trim because we've kind of seen such a wild swings at open, swings at close. Kind of, you think you're going to get positioned, then the market kind of turns against you. So once you can get it trimmed down to those runners, then that's where you can kind of get a lot of value. But just, I wasn't too confident. And I just naturally prefer to be in calls than puts, so I kind of have a little bit less, resolve and confidence with puts as I do in calls, just because you kind of always like to root for it to go up. So we booked some 1.4, But I think it was actually a little bit above that because if you put a limit order in, you can sometimes get a higher executed price. But 1.4, 1.42, 1.45, somewhere in there. And then took a little bit more at 70%. And then took a little bit more at 100%. So that's where your position's free if you can get about half of it gone. So this is about 25%, and then 25% of that, 25%, and then 25% of that, 25%. And then you start getting these real ones. So then we had that big move. So got it down to 1/3 left. So you keep kind of whittling down your position, getting more profits, and getting it more and more, so you're easier and easier to hold. And then once I was down to runners, so this is basically runners are less than, I'd say, a fifth size, so 20% or less. I was actually down to about, let's just say 10. Pretty much all that's left. And what I'm watching for is that 134.12 on the last couple I have. And the reason I say that is that's because it's a 52-week low, and you really don't have anything left to stop it on the weekly time frame. Like there's our low. So here's that 134.12. I mean, we could see, I mean, it's Friday, so obviously it's going to be tight, but if we do continue to sell that last 10% of your contracts, if they go up 1,000%, that's more than your whole position doubling if you didn't trim any. So really, really good. Don't check the math on that. I think I'm right, but well, I'm pretty sure. Someone let me know in the comments if I did the math right. So that's something to like. So then going back to just the flow of what we continue to see. So we'll go back to today's flow. So some calls did start to show up and then back into puts. So there wasn't really, I mean, you have a couple big calls in the 1 day to expiry looking for a bounce. And the highest OI, same thing, long dated. So near term, it's kind of just whatever the market wants to do, you'll witness Facebook do. And Facebook, same thing, hasn't been getting a lot of positive news. So if there is selling, Facebook will tend to sell hard. Just same way Apple got bad news and sold big, Facebook gets bad news and sells big. So with that, I think that's all we have. Hopefully we see Meta break down a little bit more tomorrow. If we could somehow see 130, 120s, that'd be awesome for any of our puts that we have left for our runners. And if you enjoyed the video, why don't you go ahead and leave a comment. I think we're at like 8,400 subscribers. So really, really appreciate you all you guys, and have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time.